Hello and welcome to Kirklees Today with Alice Sofield
and Scott Wallace. We have a jammed-packed show for you lined up this afternoon. Our very own Joe Dowson has been getting musical as he visits a world-famous trombone maker. We've also been out to Wakefield looking at the activities done by the Riding for the Disabled Association.
On top of that, professional skier Katie Summerhays is in the studio later to talk about her Winter Olympic bid. Now though, Hayley O'Farrell has been around the local area learning all about stained glass windows.
Stained glass has been around since as early as the 7th century, and in St Bartholomew's Church in Marsden, which was built in 1895, they have stained glass work since as early as 1903.
The pieces within this church were put in over a 50-year period, with pieces made during the Second World War.
So what made you so interested in stained glass?
I think I've always been interested in art. I'm quite interested in the Pre-Raphaelites, and I think that in this church in particular there are elements of Pre-Raphaelite artists here which are really quite beautiful. No money was spared on building and beautifying this church, and I think, you know, of all the churches I've been a member of in my life as I've moved around, this one by far has the most beautiful stained glass that I've had the privilege to be part of.
I'm off to find out how these beautiful pieces of art are made. I'm here at Design Glass in Brighouse, where they make and restore stained glass windows. So let's go take a look around.
Design Glass are an award-winning company within the heart of Yorkshire. Their warehouse in Brighouse has 2 workshops, one for stained glass repairs and making, and another for their sister company Touchstone, which places glass into stone framework. As well as this, there is a gallery where just some of their work is displayed.
Design Glass has done many major projects, including the dome in the Liverpool Library and restoration work in Durham Castle. And looking at these pieces here with the attention to detail, it's clear to see why.
By combining old and new traditions within the making of their art, they create pieces that still hold the element of an old artwork, such as you see in churches where the details focus on features and the coloured glass makes up the framework, and the new vibrant colours and different forms of glass that create beautiful illuminations when the light shines on them.
The making of stained glass has hardly changed since the 12th century. It consists of different pieces of coloured glass held together in a web of lead.
It is known that stained glass within religion was used as a tool for learning. It taught those who did not have the skills of reading or writing about the stories within the Bible. In the Victorian era, stained glass became popular within homes and not just public buildings. Yet the artwork that appeared in homes were mostly monochrome, with very little colour.
Design Glass don't just make stained glass, they also make ordinary windows like this one.
Well, I kept getting asked by people. They'd ring up and say, can you put leaded lights in double glazed units? And I used to say, yeah, that's no problem, and because that's quite a common thing.
Yeah.
And then they'd say, will you glaze them back into our house for us? And I'd say, yeah, what kind of windows you got? Wood, plastic? And they say, oh no, there's no windows, it's just a stone surround. And then I'd say, well, you can't do that.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I'm saying this so many times that if I can come up with a way of doing it, then there might be an opportunity there.
Yeah.
Touchstone are the only company in England that can put stained glass into stone framework. The company does many restorations for churches as well as work for cathedrals.
I'm here with Alex, who is doing a repair job. So Alex, can you briefly explain to me what you're doing?
A customer brought this in with a lot of broken pieces, so we just put the new bits and repair them back in.
Alright. So you've been in talks with the University of Huddersfield about a project there, so what exactly would you be doing?
Yeah, we went the other day to have a look at it, and there's a couple of gable ends on, I think they call it the Milton building, that apparently needs some attention. So it's early days yet, but hopefully that might be something that we're doing pretty soon.
Design Glass has been around since the 1860s and have been successful due to their amazing craftsmanship and passion they put into their work.
I've had a fantastic time here at Design Glass today, learning the traditional and modern ways that stained glass is made, and it's clear to see that in years to come this beautiful artwork will still be just as popular.
Oh, you know what? I couldn't agree with Hayley more. Stained glass windows are just so beautiful to look at.
I know, the amount of time and precision it takes, I would never have the patience. On to something completely different, and the Riding for the Disabled Association in Wakefield is a charity providing horse riding lessons for people of all ages, and Emma Brown has paid them a visit.
So I'm here at Riding for the Disabled in Wakefield, where horses like these guys can really make a difference to people's lives. And seeing as I'm going to be around horses, I better be putting this on.
There are over 1.3 million horse riders in the UK. This is no ordinary riding school. Students here enjoy riding lessons and learn how to care for the horses. I've come to see the dedicated work that goes into the RDA. Marion is a riding instructor here. She teaches people with different riding abilities.
So Marion, what is your role here?
Well, I work here as an instructor, also obviously doing yard work and training volunteers and so forth.
How long have you been doing that for?
I've been here for about 5 years now.
5 years, that's a long time, isn't it? So what kind of stuff do you do in lessons?
Well, it depends on the level of the rider and the sort of disability that the rider has. Some people come for more therapeutic type lessons, where they just enjoy the movement of being on the horse. Sometimes it can help build their muscles. We have other riders though who have impairments of one nature or another, but they can get to quite a high standard. So really it just depends on the rider, but we do a lot of, we sort of encourage the riders to do as much as they can.
Fantastic. And is it quite popular?
It's very popular, yes. Yeah, we have a very long waiting list, unfortunately, and it takes a long time to get people onto the into lessons. But once they're on, we very rarely lose people. That's why we have such a long waiting list.
Fantastic. And is there a lesson going on at the moment that we could sit in?
Well, there is a lesson starting shortly. You're more than welcome to stay and watch if you'd like.
Yeah, thank you. That would be fantastic.
Great.
In the UK, there are over 500 Riding for the Disabled centres. These groups are mostly run by volunteers. To date, there are roughly 18,000 volunteers in total. Each year, around 28,000 disabled horse riders benefit from these centres. The president of the RDA is Her Royal Highness Princess Anne. She has always had a love for horses and horse riding. She has ridden in the British equestrian team and was European cross-country champion back in 1972. Princess Anne is well known for her charitable work. She's a great supporter for the Riding for the Disabled, and she visits RDA groups as often as she can. Here in Yorkshire, there are 7 RDA centres. The group I'm visiting today is based in Wakefield, West Yorkshire. This is Jenny. She comes here for lessons on a weekly basis. Who's your favourite horse to ride?
Maisie.
And what's your absolute most favourite thing to do when you come horse riding?
Learning how to trot.
But of course none of this would be possible without the volunteers that give their time to help these riders. Mark is a disabled volunteer who works here a few days a week.
Mark, how long have you been working here?
I've been working here at Riding for Disabled in Chapelthorpe, Wakefield now for around about 13 years.
Why do you do it?
Why do I do it? I love working with the horses. I get a lot of satisfaction out of helping disabled riders. You know, it's good fun. It keeps me busy. I'm not able to work full time as I have mental health problems, so I volunteer for here and for Wakefield Hospice.
Fantastic. And what kind of duties do you do on the yard?
We do everything. We tack the horses up, we feed the horses, we muck out, help with the disabled riding lessons, you know, leading the horses. So yeah, that's I really enjoy it.
There are many lessons available here at the RDA, some of which include show jumping and carriage driving, all of which help the rider with their disabilities.
So I've really enjoyed myself here at Riding for Disabled in Wakefield, but I suppose I better do my share. I better get started.
Oh, it's so good to see all the work that they get up to, and I'm glad you got stuck in, Emma.
Yeah, doing Kirklees today proud.
Right, well, moving on. And I bet you didn't know that if it's a customised trombone you're after, then Yorkshire is the place to be. Michael Rath is a world famous custom trombone maker, and our very own Joe Dowson has been to see him.
If I told you to name an instrument in a band, you probably wouldn't say the trombone. However, the trombone is actually an instrument that can be used in almost any musical lineup. I went along to Britain's only manufacturer of custom trombones, which just happens to be right here in the heart of Yorkshire.
So I'm here on the shop floor of Michael Rath Trombones.
The original shape is cut out of a brass sheet and then beaten into the rough shape and is subjected to high heat brazing. The flare and the spout are then brazed together to form the entire shape. However, it is still very rough and has to go through another set of hammer and heating before being polished to a mirror finish. The whole process can take up to 8 hours depending on the size and the material. Carol Jarvis is a professional trombonist and has toured with her trombone playing with the likes of Seal and Sting. I spoke to her about why Rath trombones are her go-to.
So I think a lot of trombone players play lots of different instruments, different makes from all over the world, but there seems to be a bit of a tradition of playing the American instrument that was made in the 60s or whatever, and it's just become a bit of a tradition. But to be honest, I think if you're going to be British and make a British sound, then you should be playing the British make rather than an American make. So I'm glad that the Rath trombones are getting that way now. I think they're spread all over the world now, and it's just based in Yorkshire, but it's now spread far and wide all over the world. And for me personally, it is the British make. It is the only British manufacturer of trombones, so we should be supporting the British sound on a British trombone.
Carol then very kindly offered to give me a lesson.
So Carol, show me how you do it.
Okay, so you've got to start buzzing your lips.
Right.
Give it again. The mouthpiece. That's it. Very in tune as well. And then the trombone is basically just a big amplifier.
Right.
Go for it. That's it. Easy.
And that's how it's done, kids.
Well, I thought you played that beautifully, Jo.
Absolutely. I can't believe that something so unusual like the last custom trombone maker is right on our doorstep.
I know, it's nice to find a little local business like that in our area. Makes you wonder what else is around.
Yeah, it does. But it's now time to move from music to mountains. And Abby Kerwin has been to meet a Winter Olympian who at only 19 has become the first British female to win a World Championship medal in freestyle skiing.
Katie Summerhays is preparing herself for a fight to qualify for the Winter Olympics in South Korea next year. The 20-year-old competes in freestyle skiing and has done since the age of 5 with her sister Molly Summerhays. They used both the old Sheffield ski village and the Halifax slopes in order to train. But what is freestyle skiing? And how are Katie and the rest of Team GB preparing themselves for Korea? Freestyle skiing is a discipline consisting of 5 Winter Olympic events. Katie competes in the slopestyle event, which entails a variety of rails and jumps. Points are awarded to competitors for originality and the quality of the tricks that they perform.
So to do freestyle skiing for slopestyle, we use twin tip skis, so both ends are pointed, so when we go backwards our skis don't dig in. They're also quite wide as well, but my skis that I use are really stiff, so when I land on big icy jumps I kind of just have a bit more support and stable. And yeah, the bindings are pretty strong. There's like different levels of strength you can get, and I have quite strong ones because obviously we do big jumps.
Tyler Harding is another slopestyle skier, also born and bred in Yorkshire. The 19-year-old from Halifax skis with Katie under the guidance of GB Park and Pike team coach Pat Sharples. Tyler also started skiing at a young age and is looking to follow in Katie's footsteps and reach the Olympics in 2018. And he believes his season has started well.
This season I went over to America with the team and Katie Summerhays, and then we went off to Korea for the Olympic test event, which was pretty cool. Started off better than last season, started doing some competitions, got a result in Mammoth. I got 7th in the Rev Tour, so that was pretty cool. Didn't do that well in Korea, but it was all a learning curve, so hopefully to be back in 2 years and do better there.
From New Zealand to Canada, the GB Park and Pike team travel across the world to find snow to train on. But for Katie and Molly, it all started on the dry slopes at Sheffield Ski Village. The ski village first opened in 1988, but has since been destroyed by several fires. Many Olympic snowboarders and skiers had started their careers at the centre, which is now closed. A petition is being run online at www.snowsportforsheffield.co.uk in order to try and rebuild and reopen the historical site. For now, though, the site is left unoccupied and ruined with no plans to revitalise the centre. Having seen the damage firsthand, it is clear that the council would have to spend millions to reopen the slopes. So I'm here at the derelict Sheffield Ski Village site, where Katie Summerhays and her family would have been skiing when she was 5 years old, right on this slope here. This is the beginner's slope, believe it or not. Unfortunately for the Sheffield Ski Village, 4 fires between April 2012 and April 2013 means that it's now shut, with most of the buildings now knocked down. As you can see behind me, the city centre is in show, but all that's left is remains of buildings. The site is also now took over by bikers who are on the main slope, and there is many graffiti and a lot of rubbish around the site. This is also where Pat Sharples would have met Katie Summerhays and where her and her sister's career took off. Molly and Katie have grown up together, having lived in the same houses and gone to the same schools. They now travel the world together, but has that helped them and their careers? So how did you both start skiing?
We both started skiing because we went up to the ski village. My mum and dad just wanted us to have a hobby all together as a family. So they just took us up and we just had a lesson and then fell in love.
Yeah, and then we just started at the ski club there and then met Pat, who was our coach, went on the Gram camps and then just kind of carried on from there, got into the development team and then to the GB team.
Obviously Katie was competing in the Olympics and you went to watch Molly, so how was the Sochi experience for both of you?
For me, it was good to see that, like, firsthand what it'll be like if I get to the Olympics for 2018 and just to see how it's set up and everything like that. But obviously, Kate competing in it was a lot different.
Yeah, it's just a mind-blowing experience. Like, I don't know, I'll never be able to explain it. But yeah, it was sick. I had such a good time and just loved being out there, part of the team and getting to do everything.
With less than 2 years till the Pyongyang Olympics, let's hope that Katie, Tyler and Molly can qualify, along with the rest of Yorkshire's hopefuls, and that all of them can bring back some medals from South Korea.
Thanks for that, Abby. Now, I am delighted to say that Katie Summerhays has joined us live in the studio.
Hello, welcome. We're thrilled to have you on the show today. So, could you tell us how slopestyle skiing has benefited from now becoming an Olympic sport?
Yeah, we've been in the Olympics, it's made it so much bigger for us. We now get funding as well. But yeah, people know what it is, which is great, and a lot more people are involved, so it's a lot more popular sport, which is also good because there was not many people took part in it before.
We've obviously, well, now you're an Olympian, obviously your training schedule must be jam-packed full of, you know, either going to the gym, skiing. What does a sort of normal week look like to you?
Yeah, like when I'm away training on snow, we'll ski 5-6 hours a day, as well as when we get back we'll then go to the gym or trampoline or get physio, and we ski like 5 or 6 days a week throughout the winter, and then when I'm home, yeah, I go to the gym, trampoline a lot, but have a bit more off time.
Right. Well, we did hear that actually you did suffer from a knee injury a while back, which obviously meant that you were out for competing for quite a while. What actually happened there?
Yeah, I was away at a competition a couple of years ago. I think I was 16, and yeah, I tore the main ligament in my knee. So it's a pretty bad injury that a lot of athletes go through. So I had to have a surgery to correct that, and then do 6 months of gym work and rehab. And then when I came back on skis, I did it again. So yeah, it was just before the Olympics. I think I had like 9 months to go until the Olympics, so I had to work really hard to get back and make sure I could go.
Oh.
Now that you've all recovered, what's the plan between now and the next Winter Olympics?
Yeah, we've got 2 years now before the next Olympics, so we have qualifications and a lot more training, and we'll have like 10 competitions I think leading up to the Olympics, so we have to get a top 12 result in 2 of those, so yeah, hopefully I'll do it.
Well, thank you very much for joining us, Katie. Now, up next, Josh Reardon has been to visit the Society of Model Engineers, who have a rather curious pastime.
When you think of hobbies, you may think of football, train spotting, even stamp collecting. But here, at the Huddersfield Society of Model Engineers, things are a little more diverse. The Huddersfield Society for Model Engineers is a non-profit organisation that aims to bring together all kinds of model enthusiasts. The society is based at Highfield, its own purpose-built facilities that they use to put their models to the test. But against the tranquil surroundings, it was all go, particularly on the boating lake.
And you've just witnessed the first ever Club 500 race. Now this is unique because all the different clubs throughout the country have a 500 class. So all the boats have to be standard. You cannot modify them in any way. So it's a level playing field. So the winner is the best driver.
HSME is clearly a lot of fun to be part of, but I wanted to find out more about what makes the society tick.
I enjoy it basically, and it's fun, you're outdoors, that's the way it goes.
You think of 4x4s and off-roading as kind of pedal to the metal, but actually doesn't seem
that's
the case.
A different story. It's a bit of a skill game as the four-wheel driving game. Yeah, it's a bit more slow and steady and using your knowledge basically. If you go heavy, you're going to cause an accident and something will break.
This one's an early steam tug, that one's a later. They made that for the Second World War, that one, in sections, and then took it in parts and built it up like you do now with modern boats. You know, that was, I would like the benchmark for the modern ones, probably that. But that one has a sound system in, this one don't.
So the sound system makes noises of a...
but a chugging steam engine, yeah, supposed to.
How did you come to owning these boats?
A bit sadly, somebody that had deceased and got in touch with a lad, and they said his wife were selling some of this stuff, and I said I'd like this Lady T, they call it.
The president's job is basically to promote the society and all our endeavours and things like that, but one of the main tasks is to chair the committees. We have a committee meeting every month where the membership can ask to join the committee at the annual general meeting. We're ruled by a constitution, and the constitution states that the committee will run the society, saying that we're here to promote all forms of model engineering.
Can you tell me a bit about the history of the society?
The history of the society, formed in 1919, so we're nearly 100 years old. The society was formed in the early days to do with yachting. We had a place up at Marsden called Redbrook Reservoir, which is still there. Actually, when it was formed with 6 members. We're not exactly sure of who some of those members were. Unfortunately, we had a fire here on this site. We used to have a clubhouse, and that burnt down in the 80s, and a lot of the society's records were in there. And then this site here at Highfields was acquired in 1937, and this used to be a curling rink here, and they built the sides up to form a pond. They finished the pond the day before the Second World War broke out in 1939. They just opened the pond and war was declared the next day. So a lot of them had to go off and fight, which curtailed the society's adventures somewhat. They then put a railway line down here as well. And then in the 50s they went up to Greenhead Park.
The original line built at Greenhead Park was just a long straight track known as the up and down line. This is because the train would go from one end to the other and then reverse back to the start. Now, however, the track has been expanded into a full circuit.
When the council decided to expand the park, then they suggested to us that we might like to build a railway here. The council very kindly did all the earthworks for us and the civil engineering, and we supplied the track and the rolling stock.
The train is still a popular attraction to Greenhead Park, with all the proceeds going towards helping the society maintain and repair their facilities, both here at the park and at Highfield. The Huddersfield Society for Model Engineers can be enjoyed by its members and the public alike.
You're all the same, you guys, never growing up.
To be fair, I could really see myself enjoying something like that.
You know what, after watching that, I could see myself giving it a go too. But I am afraid that is all we have time for today. I really hope you've enjoyed the show, and thanks again, Katie, for joining us.
Yes, we do hope you've enjoyed the show. Goodbye.
Goodbye.